Invisigirl did not need to go to the Red Ring in order to fix her asthma. She's just using her inhaler wrong. I noticed during the actual game in the cutscenes, she wasn't using the proper technique, and I guess maybe you could argue that she just was never taught how to use her inhaler correctly because she's like an outcast on the fringes of society. But I mean, she could look up like on the internet, how do I have better asthma, and maybe it would tell her. She just needs to do a little bit of research. But then I was looking online, and some other people pointed out that she doesn't even take the cap off of her inhaler, so it's literally doing nothing. It's doing nothing. Like, she can't breathe, and I feel like at that point it's mostly her fault that she can't breathe. Like, as someone with asthma, it sucks. You can't breathe. You can't exercise as much as like you might want to because then you die. But I just feel like there are ways to improve your quality of life, you know? Also, if you notice that I am like putting a lot of attention on Invisigal's boobs in this drawing, it's because for whatever reason she seemingly doesn't wear a bra. Like, if you know that one scene towards the very end of the game, she just isn't wearing one for some reason, which seems like a strange choice for a superhero because she's like moving and running and superheroing all over the city. That like, does her back hurt? Does her chest hurt? Like, it must. I don't know. Maybe she just didn't wear one that day for like dramatic effect because she wanted to flash the audience. I don't know. I didn't romance Invisigirl. I like Invisigirl a lot. I know she's kind of a controversial character, but I really liked how much of like a girl failure she was. I always like seeing female characters that like are three-dimensional in the sense that they're kind of bad people. You don't see that super often. Usually female characters are like evil villainesses or they're like uncomplicated and good. I don't know. I like that all the characters in this patch were like three-dimensional in that way. But I just feel like what she needs, at least at the end of season 1, is more of like a platonic support system. I'm not saying it's bad to romance her, or that like it makes Robert a bad person, but it just feels like she doesn't really know how to form normal relationships. So the first thing she does when she starts to have these like positive feelings towards Robert is like sexually harass him, which I don't know if that's a super great like building block for a healthy relationship. But she does grow a lot over the course of the game if you like make the right decisions. So I think it just kind of depends on what your Robert does. This drawing wasn't the most easy drawing I've ever done. It was actually pretty difficult. I think a lot of it is just that I really wanted to work on my rendering and try and render some more complicated lighting. This was my reference. I don't know the source because I got it off of Pinterest, so if you know who took it or who the model is, let me know. But I wanted to do this one because the red light kind of reminded me of like the Red Ring, and Invisigirl's recording is like connected to that. But anyways, mostly I just wanted to render it. The angle of her head is kind of similar to the viral Farron. I watched that show, but I still don't know how to pronounce her name. To that like viral drawing of her, and it is like a deceptively really difficult angle to draw the head. I think it's because when you draw the head from below, you end up having to draw more details than you do at like other angles, and they're just, I think, details you don't draw very often, so you don't really learn how to draw them as well. I think it's like the way the nostrils change their shape and the underside of the nose and the way the eyes fold and the perspective of the eyes. For some reason, I really struggled with the mouth. I still don't like it a whole lot, but it's definitely way bigger. It's definitely way better than when I started, so that's good at least. I do like the way this drawing turned out. I think the rendering looks nice. Definitely always room for improvement, but I'm pretty satisfied with this for now. I'm gonna like realize all the flaws with it a little bit later on, so the satisfaction will not last, but it never does. That's just what it's like to be an artist, I think.